You know that feeling you get when anticipating a jump scare in a really good horror movie? The one where the music just stopped and you know it's coming, but it still gets you anyways. Now imagine that, but half the time, you don't even get a warning. And rather than knowing you're in danger, you have this false sense of security as you move through the brush. And then it happens, the jump scare. I really don't want to go on this road. Dude, I react. That, my friends, is what I like to call the Arena Breakout Infinite experience. Except I forgot to mention that you also have to imagine carrying your prized possession being the 24-karat Labubu. So my question is, why does this game actually make me feel things? Oh! And not just fear. Oh, you horny! But the intense highs of getting eliminations and looting people, and the very intense lows of losing all your gear. Okay. You know what? Today's just not my day. Whether it's highs or lows or in between, this game constantly has you on high alert. And for good reason, as in very many cases, you can die at any moment with just a really well-placed shot, which is going to be something you absolutely love or you absolutely hate. Love it or hate it, you have to respect that this game has created an atmosphere that many others have failed to create. And I say very many, as if you haven't gathered already, this is an extraction shooter, which once again, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. But wait, don't click off the video yet. I know some of you don't like extraction shooters, and I understand that because I was one of those people. I have played very many extraction shooters. I gave them all a fair shake, as there's been very many attempts, as I said, and I thought it was a genre problem, to be honest, and you probably thought so too. But with this game, it really changed my perspective. As a full-time slave wage worker and someone who does YouTube as well, I don't have much time for this game, but I've happily put in hours just for fun, not even for the sake of getting footage, which I think says a lot about this game. And the answer to why I'm enjoying this game is simple. It's fun, or in more advanced terms, it's really engaging. Whether it's the intense gunfights I've already mentioned, which have my heart racing like a Siege 1v1 in OT for the game, or the masochistic enjoyment of always being on edge, or the degenerate gambler in me who just likes the rush of looting everything I can for a chance of getting something worth a lot of money. Oh my god. The gameplay just hits all the right beats for the genre, maybe besides the AI, which are pretty questionable at times. Oh, wait, I want to try it. The running knife. Why did he die in one hit? I'm like a pirate. Or at least... Uh-oh. Wait, hold on. And other times they actually act like real players minus the aim, so they give you this jump scare. Why do those take up so... Oh, fuck. That was an AI. Okay, thank God that was an AI. But in all truth, gameplay is only one aspect of a game. One very important aspect, but still you have to get the other ones right too. And one of those other aspects that I think they got right is progression. If you like having obscure missions to do, then dang is this the game for you. Give one vendor 25 household items and he'll reward you for some reason. Go to this random place on the map and investigate it, which just basically stands for standing in the wide open, just praying you don't get slimed while you hold F. Find or buy better guns, then equip 100 attachments just to once again get slimed. You're fucking kidding me. Dude, okay. This game does something that a lot of other games don't, and that's slowly introducing you to new features. Rather than throwing 100 modes at you, you start with one. After a while, you'll have two, and then eventually you have access to the several or so modes that they have. They also do this with the missions and microtransactions. As far as I could tell, you can't even spend money till you're a few hours in, and I think this is one of the reasons why it's doing so well on Steam, opposed to a game like Fragpunk, which I want to point out I really enjoyed, but it had way too much going on in the menus at the very start. This game has almost all the same features, if not more, as Fragpunk. They just don't shove it all down your throat at once. But despite how it may seem, I am not sponsored by the company who made this game, even though it's mostly glazing the game for the last few minutes. I do have a few gripes with the game. For one, continuing to talk about microtransactions, they aren't terrible, but I do think the Elite Pass is by definition pay to win, or at least pay to gain an advantage. It gives you perks like having a bigger case, which is slots that are always safe no matter what, meaning that they are very valuable to have, increased market slots and the amount of items you can sell in a week on the community market, and you even got some items slash equipment. So that is a pretty big negative for me. Beyond that, we have something that is, to be fair, pretty much an industry standard at this point, and that's your timed missions. Whether it's dailies, weeklies, or seasonal events, this game constantly has some type of clock ticking. And as someone who works basically full-time and is trying to do YouTube while playing all the newest games, it is increasingly hard to keep up, as you may expect. And I get this especially strong when it comes to a game that I'm really enjoying like this one. This is something that is hopefully changing, as Arc Raiders will not have any timed missions, which is just so refreshing to hear. Finally, in terms of progression, I should mention the trophy room slash hideout room feature, which acts as a place where you can flaunt the dog tags of those you've killed before in battle, and the ability to upgrade rooms to unlock benefits like being able to craft, giving passive bonuses like health regeneration, and lastly, just being able to decorate, which is always fun. Although I don't really see people who enjoy this genre caring about that, to be honest, as I kind of just visualize them living in an Asmongold-esque room. Speaking of refreshing, I want to point out one of my favorite features in this game, that being the kill cam. After you die or your team dies, if you're in a squad, you have the option to watch your kill cam or death cam. This, while not perfect, eliminates that frustration of wondering whether or not you were killed by a hacker. Unlike in Tarkov, where you don't know whether or not the person that killed you was hacking, well, you kind of do, considering that like 50% of the people that play that game hack. Another thing that just really caught me off guard is how good this game looks. And I want to say that it must be optimized pretty well considering how it runs on my PC, despite the graphics. And it's not that I have a bad PC, it just runs really well compared to some other games I've played that have really good graphics. While I am once again gushy about the game, I must talk about the gunplay, which is just so good. It is so satisfying blowing a guy's head off and just hearing that gush sound. Oh my god. It sounds psychopathic, but you get it if you play. Even when I'm fighting for my life to control a gun's high recoil, this game just clearly has a really high skill ceiling that I really respect. And rather than being intimidated by the mountain to climb, I see more of a path that rewards all that are willing to put in the time, making me believe that experience is king. Not to mention that the gunplay heavily ties into the progression. As mentioned before, you need to not only have a good gun, but also good ammo and a good attachments, all of which can vary in price drastically. This game really is kind of just the wet dream for a guy who likes to customize his gun. In terms of modes, I think they once again have done a really good job, although I have to admit that I haven't played them all. What I do know is that you start out in normal mode, which is a place that attracts lower skilled players, or rather newer players, given that the cap on the loadout brought into the mode is about 450,000 of the game's currency, which is fairly low in the game's terms. The loot found around the map is also typically weaker and less dense. This is what makes the other modes really intriguing, as they are really just modes that are higher risk, higher reward. This means rather than gear price caps, you have gear price minimums and entry fees in the game currency, usually taking place on different maps, but again, I haven't played those yet, so I won't speak on it like I know it all. What I do know is there are also some modes on rotation. For example, the other day I was playing some 4v4 TDM style mode, which is a really good mode to have to get a feel for the gunplay when you don't want to just lose all your stuff. I also played on a mode which was the map farm, but the twist was that it was raining really heavily, which made it harder to see, and I made the unfortunate decision to wear a gas mask, which ended up taking up all my vision with the raindrops. But all this together created a completely different vibe. It also had better gear, which of course meant also better players. Spotted me. And lastly, I've played the Covert Ops mode, which is essentially Scav Run from Tarkov. You are given a really shitty random loadout and placed in a game halfway in progression without a backpack, so your goal is to essentially just take whatever you can. The twist in this mode is that you are technically playing as an imposter AI, so the other AIs won't bother you unless you are bothering them. This mode does go on a 15-minute cooldown after you are done each run, which is basically essentially nothing. Unlike in Tarkov, I haven't really felt a need to play this mode as much, except for when I'm doing mode-specific missions. Due to one, I'm doing fairly well in my normal runs, meaning I haven't really been low on gear or money, and secondly, the game has a feature called Quick Kits, which is essentially just a coupon to free gear that is kind of randomized, or you can pay a $15,000 fee to randomize it again to hopefully get the gear you want, because sometimes you get gear that just doesn't have a helmet and then you'll just die really fast. The loot does scale for the quick kits depending on what tier you get. There's basically 3 tiers: the normal quick kit, I think it was called the elite one, I don't know, had like a purple color, and then there was like a legendary one that was like yellow. These reset weekly, with you getting about 5 of the basic ones, 1 of the better ones, and then I still haven't got one of the legendary ones, or whatever you want to call it. And you do occasionally also get these through missions. So yeah, overall this game is pretty awesome. I should put in a bit of a disclaimer, as I did this after I wrote the script, but I did jump into the harder mode, which I think was called like Lockdown or something, and I got destroyed playing on my own. Just throw that out there, that maybe I'll have a more negative view in a couple weeks in the harder modes. Never mind, I need to lock in here. This is a serious time. I'm actually going to sweat the hardest I've sweated playing this game. I'm going to go low commentary, just focus. Dead. Oh my god. I got him with my last freaking bullets. Oh my god, I actually escaped. Oh, 500k, nice. 3 real people killed and we killed 12 bots. I'm actually just incredibly proud of myself for killing the 2 guys. It is a highly skilled game. You should know that. Overall though, this game has been a blast to play, especially with friends. If you can get some friends on here. I don't have very many friends, but I played with a friend and it was fairly fun. So I would recommend that, as you also do get quite a big advantage playing with a friend as well. And I just genuinely think you should give it a shot. It's free to play, so just play it. And if you don't like it, delete it. Either way, I don't really care. It doesn't affect me. What does affect me is you liking the video and subscribing, as it makes my videos get more numbers, which makes me happy. So please do that. Thank you. It also lets me know that the child sweatshop I'm running in my basement of video editors isn't for nothing. Okay, that's it. Bye.